you going? Video's unavailable. Why are you unavailable? All right, here we go. Okay, so going into power hour here, and we've got a decent amount of stuff going on here for today that happened. My mic does not appear to be working. Is it working? Doesn't appear to be. Webcam's working. Mic, check, check, check. What the fuck? Anyone hear me? Or is it just me? No, it does seem to be working. That's weird. Okay. Okay. Anyone hear me? Or is it just me? Alright, it's weird. My mic isn't registering, but it's definitely working. Okay, so we're going to go into this. Stocks I traded today were ATOS and BIOC. Not the best plays. There was definitely plays to be had, but they were losing trades. I lost a total of, I think, $222.69 today was my loss for the day, which isn't too bad, really. Kind of a low day, whatever. So we're gonna go right into it here. First trade was on BIOC at 213. I took that at 935 for 3,000 shares. I think it got filled for just under 3,000 of those shares. It was like 2,730 shares at the time, and I sold 3 minutes later at 938 for a loss of 5 cents per share at 208. I got all those shares filled, which is good. So we're going to go to the BIOC chart here, take a look at 935 and see what I was thinking, what was going through my mind at the 935 buy and the 938 exit, just to see what's up with it. You know, why did I lose money on it? And hopefully, me talking about it, if you took a trade, hopefully you'll learn something from it. Okay, so 935 is right here. 935 right here. It starts to curl, it looks like. Sitting on a level over here from the pre-market. And I took it at 213, so just up here, just under here, 213. As we can see, it definitely sold off right afterwards. Not the best trade, obviously. Not a bad entry, I think. I mean, we were showing some bullish movement there after a quick sell-off in the open. It was making the higher comeback here for a bullish trend, and I was kind of hoping that it would break this level, which it clearly didn't. And I was able to sell off at 208. And as we can see, it dropped down within a few minutes down to 203, 202, 203 it looks like. So saved myself 5 cents there, just by being quick and pulling the trigger when I realized it wasn't gonna do it right then. It's basically risk management, rule number one, stocks. That's just the way it is. Definitely got to try and preserve your capital because nobody wants to lose, right? I mean, we're in this game to make money. This is our job. Hopefully it's your job, or hopefully you're working towards making it your job. So 5 cents, that's an acceptable loss for me there at 208. This level is basically where I didn't want it to break, and when it dropped right there, in my head, I just had a feeling it wasn't coming back at that moment. We can see it got back up to 214. What was I going to do? Hold it that long just to make no money and sell it even? That's a risky play in my opinion on an already bearish trend, a stock that's being bearish. We saw it, pop up a massive amount here in the early pre-market and kind of just sold off the rest of the time there. As you can see across the board, it just thinned out, got to the VWAP once, and here we are, at 202. So definitely a pretty bearish stock today, nothing great happening. So altogether, not a great trade. It was definitely a bit higher of an entry than I think I should have been looking for. I probably should have been looking at an entry right around here, around 208 actually, when it hit this level of support, which as we can see, it literally dropped, hit it, rebounded for a nice 8-cent move, and then, slowly started to work up, and that's where I thought the bullish trend and the momentum was going to come back in with the volume, and, it sold off, and that's where it wasn't worth it to me at that point. Might as well take your loss, move on to the next trade. And the sad thing is, when this is going on, I'm in this stock at this moment. Scanners and chats going palm, which is on my watch list early morning. And as we can see here, it had a magnificent move, and it was on my watch list, and I was looking for it at 170, and it just happened at exactly the time that I was in BIOC. And unfortunately, I didn't have the presence of mind to exit my BIOC move and see a true momentum play here of 170 straight up to 210. There is nothing bad about that play right there. That was clearly the play of the day because most of the rest of the day seemed to be a bit of a hellish of a day trying to really trade. It was a bit annoying, a lot of bearish movements, nothing too momentum heavy, which is, basically what I play is momentum, support and resistance bounces is how I play, and it's hard to do that when, you got a stock that's being very bearish. I think we had ATOS, Palm, BIOC, higher. BLNK was one that came up on the scanners and in the chat this morning. Not my type of play at the time. It was at, I think, 30,000 in volume. That's just too low for me, especially when you're taking 3,000 shares. It can be hard to get filled, and more importantly, it can be hard to get out when you want to exit a position fast and there's nobody buying. The volume's so low, nobody's taking your shares, and you get caught holding the bag, and you take a bigger loss than 5 cents, or maybe you're down to 20 cents, however fast it moves. You're just stuck in the play, which really sucks. And I've had that happen, and I try not to do that anymore because I've lost a lot of money doing it. Learning experience for me. So I didn't play it. I was looking at an entry in BLNK at an early, it was like right around here, I think 222. I was trying to get filled. I couldn't get filled. As we can see, it moved up to about 225. But that's only a 3-cent play. It's really, it's only $90 when you're trading 3,000 shares. I guess I got to increase my share size, but there just wasn't much price action going on here between these. So, a 6-cent move, a 5-cent move on this stock seems like a lot when you're looking at the chart, right? You're seeing this here, and these look like massive moves, right? But the truth is, you're talking 220 all the way up to 227. That's 7 cents. I mean, ATOS here was moving swings of, 10, 15 cents. 1.7 to 1.8. 175, you're talking 15 cents right there, about 15 cents swing there. They're just more enticing to me because 15 cent is a lot more than, a 6 or 7 cent move on a thin stock with no volume. That's not how I trade. It's not really my play style. If there's profit to be had in it and I can play it, yes, of course I'll take the trade. I'm not going to say no to a good trade. That's just, that's bad investing right there. So that was BIOC and Palm. I didn't take that trade. Wish I had. We're going to move on to ATOS here. I took a few trades on this. I think my first trade was at 947 was my first, I don't know, 1023 was my first trade on ATOS. Okay, so 1023, it was starting to make that grinding movement up. We were definitely getting a lot of, the stock itself was getting a lot of attention ever since open. It moved about, I think, 27% in the pre-market on about 1.3 million shares, which isn't bad. It's not great for a stock that you really want to be moving. And if you had been in it earlier, it would have been a great trade. As we can see right here, if you got in the pre-market, I don't play pre-market. I prefer playing when the market opens at 9:30 Eastern time. I'm in Eastern. You know, if you'd played it here, great. You could have made a ton of money. I was a bit worried about it selling off after open and not really being able to have the power to get back to it. And as we can see, it didn't. It actually didn't even get close to the high of day, the pre-market high of day, which would have been great because that's what I was hoping for. But in my head, you know, pre-market, I was telling myself, you know, this isn't looking like it's going to have the power to do it. If it had been like 5 million shares pre-market, I think it might have had a better chance. But on 1.3 with only a 20-some% move, it just wasn't enough after full market open to keep up that momentum. And now I played it here at 1023, so we're going to go look at 1023. 1023 right here, we see it get into this VWAP level. And my first trade wasn't too bad. I did play it exactly as I wanted to. I wanted to get in at one, you know, right around here. This level here, when it broke, started to make higher lows here. I think that was the correct entry for that moment. As we can see, you know, it definitely made a bullish movement up to the VWAP level. The purple line is the VWAP for anyone who hasn't watched my streams. That's just the color I chose. I might go back to gold, we'll see. Purple is just what I have it set at because it's a color that I'm not using right now. But anyways, it moved up, and as we can see, it broke it. And we got up to that resistance at 189, that 190 level resistance that it did not want to break. It was being such a pain in the ass for everyone that was in this stock. It just didn't want to break it. And, you know, we can see across here, 190 is the level. It's just stuck on it. You can see it right there. It finally breaks a little bit later. I didn't want to play it because I was afraid of this happening. And if you're part of the Atlas chat, you saw what I was talking about. Right here, I think it was at around 11 o'clock. I was like, hey, you know, this is going to do just about one of two things here. It's going to get the volume to pop the 190, and it's going to sell off to about 170. And as we can see, it did exactly what I said. It broke the 190 by 2 pennies. So if you're in it, I hope you sold immediately. And as we can see, within a couple minutes, it just dropped off to the 170 level, which is the next support. And it held that, but at that point, I already didn't like this stock. It was being bearish. It was definitely trending down. It was being a bit of a pain in the ass all day, especially when most of the stocks, aside from Palm, which is a great play if you played it, I just didn't like it, so I didn't play it, and that was the last trade I took. But I took two possible trades here. The first one was a winning trade, 183 to 187. Which was that resistance level. I think it got to 188. I did a market sell because I figured it would sell off so hard. I didn't think a limit order would get filled at 3,000 shares. So I did a market sell. I got filled 1 penny under, or 1 or 2 pennies under, which was fine with me. I'm okay with taking that just to get the profit out of it, which is only 5 pennies, but hey, you know, that's 120 bucks. Unfortunately, I got caught up in the FOMO, which is a real thing. It's so huge. You know, FOMO, fear of missing out, right? This is the moment where I let the emotional part of trading get to me, and I was like, well, it's going to break it, and it's going to skyrocket. You know, it's going to go up from 190. There's resistance at 195, I believe it was. Yeah, right up there at 195. And I thought, you know, hey, that's an extra, you know, stupid, it's 5 pennies, you know, 120 bucks. It was a bad play on my part. It just was. I bought at 188 right here. Which was just absolutely, in my opinion, an amateur trade. It was just, I got FOMO, and everybody in the chat's like yelling about, you know, hey, it's gonna break this, but it just didn't have the volume. And obviously, I wanted it to break for not only for my own sake, I wanted everybody else to win off it too, because stocks is you versus you. And I wish it had, but you know, right, it just unfortunately, no, I bought it right here. Actually, I think it was. Let's check the time exactly here. Yeah, 10:27, sold 10:35. Unfortunately, I gave back all my profits and $108, as we can see right here. So I was negative on that stock for the day. So unfortunately, with that trade, I took I gave back the profits I had made and then some, and then $100, which isn't fun. You know, nobody likes losing. That was a good learning lesson, hopefully for me and you, if you're watching, not to get FOMO on a trade. You know, that's not something that I think is healthy to do in the slightest. When you get FOMO on a trade, most of the times the action's already happened. You get FOMO, you get caught, and it drops. You know, as we can see here, like, thank God I wasn't FOMO right there because I could see what was happening. I sold right here, or no, right here actually in this drop. You know, the sad thing is like when you've been doing stocks long enough, you kind of you get a feel for what's happening in the market, and other people felt this out better than me actually. So kudos to them. Some people in the chat were definitely calling this out better than me, but as soon as it dropped from here to my entry point is when I should have taken the exit there, and it just broke even. Would have been nice, or no, just for a small loss, I would have broken even on the day for the stock instead of taking a $100 loss. I did a market sell here, and I just didn't think it had it in it. But if you had the fortitude to play here at the support level, good for you. You know, you could have made a good 10-cent move. That's a play that I would have liked to had right here actually at 178 is the play that I was looking for. Got in a little bit late because I was watching Palm and BIOC, or maybe I was watching BLNK at that time. Yeah, I was watching BLNK at that time. And you know, if you got in then great. It was a great potential move there. You know, rule of the day: don't get FOMO on a stock. No matter what anybody's saying, try not to believe the hype. Do your own research, do your own studying, make your own reasoning for a stock. So my reasoning right here, right, a perfect trade execution, and by what I mean by that is the plan that I had in my head was to hit this 190 level and sell, because I didn't trust the stock past 190. I just didn't think it had what it had. I didn't think the stock had it in it to get past that level. And in this moment, and you know, 183 to 187 is what I sold, and I was right. Unfortunately, I got FOMO on it because I was looking for another pop of that 190 to see if I could scalp from 190 to 195. I got that 188 entry, terrible, and it just sold off there. That was me being FOMO and not setting up a strategy on the stock in that moment. Now, setting up these strategies only takes a second, right? When you've been doing it for a while, you can see these levels, these support levels, these resistance levels, and those stock plans should go naturally in your head. It should be a natural fluid thought in your head. Hey, I'm gonna hit here, and if this happens, I'm gonna sell it. You know, you can set an actual stop loss, you can set a mental stop loss. I do it mentally, and I just pay attention to the stock, and when I realize it's not doing what I want it to do, I will sell it immediately, whether that's a market or trying to get out on an ask. Usually a market if I feel like it's gonna go off immediately, and this was a market sell here on my second trade for the loss. I got filled at 181, as we can see it dipped down to 179. Fortunately, it came right back, but to be honest, I would have only sold for a break even if I'd held it the entire time, you know, and that's just not how I trade. I believe in playing the momentum and not trying to fight the trend of a stock. I got it written on my whiteboard behind me. It's week one problems. I was fighting the trends of the stocks earlier this week because a lot of stocks have been selling off, minus the few that absolutely went crazy, like or the TVR or TMSR and WorkX and Works. You know, I didn't have the balls to play those just because they were absolutely insanely volatile. That's when I stopped trading, was here after this play. I got some food, I went to the gym, and now I'm back here doing a quick recap on this. And you know, I wish that I had been able to take this trade and make it work for me instead of trying to force it. And that's what I was trying to do up here when I got FOMO on it. I was trying to force a trade, and that's never a good idea. Never a good idea. Stick to your strategy and trust yourself in these moments because they happen so quickly. They happen so quickly. You've got to trust your instincts on it because, you know, right here, as soon as it started to sell off here, hit the VWAP, in my head, I was sitting there yelling at myself, hey, sell this stock. Sell this stock. It's consolidating right here. It's a bearish stock for the day. I don't think it's going to have it. And, you know, what happens a minute or two later, it starts to sell off where, you know, exactly what I thought it was going to do. But in your head, you want it to do the opposite so badly. Because, you know, you want to be right. Nobody likes being wrong. That's just an unfortunate part of trading. You're not always going to be right, and these strategies aren't always going to pan out. But hopefully it's percentages here. So hopefully, if your risk management, rule number one, is good and you're only losing, X amount per trade, but you're letting your winners make you, double or triple that, that's where you make the profit. And, today wasn't one of those days for me. I only took, I think, three trades, 2 on ATOS, 1 on BIOC, and, I came out negative. I entered too late and I sold a little bit under. My sell on the winning trade was good. My sell on the losing trade was, I held way too long. I knew it was going south. I just held too long. That's just the truth. So that's a quick recap of those. ATOS and BIOC for the day. Yeah. Any questions or thoughts on it? Let me know. Send me a message. Joker Trading. See you around.